Hello students, and welcome to this video presentation to the start of World War I. We're going to go over briefly, very briefly actually, kind of the overall causes, the causes that have been kind of stirring for the last 50 or 60 years, and then we're going to dive right into the actual spark of the war, which kind of caused all these different long-term causes to kind of collide at one time. Again, we talked about this in class. We have militarism. The Industrial Revolution is going to give the European powers massive capabilities to bring out new weapons that they've never been able to do before. This is going to be devastating as these new weapons enter the battlefield. You can see this very clearly in the budgets that each of the countries spend in the years leading up to the war. Number two is alliance systems. As these budgets kind of increase dramatically and everyone starts gearing up for war, something that they think is inevitable, each of the nations kind of decides it wants to ally with friends near it. Most of these alliances are based on somewhat common ancestry or common ideas about what should happen in the near future. Our third cause is imperialism. Very simply, if you look at a map like this, for instance, or a map of Africa here, there are no more colonies left in the world for them to conquer. So if each of the European nations still wants to prove how much more amazing they are than the others, then they must start conquering each other. They must start showing off to each other their superiority. And our last one is nationalism and conscription. You have conscription and the fact that each of these European nations now has a massive army behind it. Here are some numbers for you. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of soldiers that are willing to fight and die on day one of a new war. You don't really have to train soldiers at this time. You don't really have to do anything. You have men ready to fight and die. In addition to that, you're going to have ethnic groups like the Serbians who are going to want to break away and form their own countries, as well as nationalism in the sense that each of the European nations thinks that they're better than everyone else. The actual conflict itself is going to start because of a very simple and, in the grand scheme of history, not very big, event. See, Serbia has been trying to break away from the Austro-Hungarian Empire now for years because of their nationalistic tendencies. Certain groups like the Black Hand are going to rise up and kind of form an underground resistance movement. When the situation gets so bad in Serbia, the Austro-Hungarians are going to send down the prince of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, a man by the name of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He brings an army with him just to kind of show off the military power of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and put everyone back in a line. While he's there on a parade, a man by the name of Gavrilo Princip is going to rush up to his car and shoot him twice. One of the bullets is going to go right through his throat and sever one of his major arteries. He's going to start bleeding out immediately. The second bullet is going to pierce the chest of his wife. This assassination on July 28th, 1914, is going to spark a domino effect across Europe because of those alliance systems and the industrialization and the nationalism that we had just talked about. Austro-Hungary immediately, within about the next 3 weeks, throws out a list of 10 different demands that they want the Serbians to follow in order for war not to be declared. This includes things like suppressing the media against anti-Austro-Hungarian statements, to raid all the universities and destroy education materials that are anti-Austro-Hungarian or nationalistic, to go through their entire 500,000-man army and arrest and execute all officers or military personnel that are anti-Austro-Hungarian. That, along with 7 other demands. They told them they have 2 days in order to respond and make sure they have all the things done. Well, the Serbians respond within the 2 days, and they say, hey, we are 100% okay doing all these things. However, we need more time, and we also need more proof that these people that you want us to, execute or whatever are actually bad people. Since the Serbians did refuse 1 or 2 of the 10 points, Austro-Hungary declares war immediately on the Serbian state. It's pretty obvious to see when you look at their demands and when you look at their response that the Austro-Hungarians were never really interested in actual peace. They were far more interested in declaring war all along. They just needed a reason to do so, and this gave them the reason. Very quickly, very quickly after the declaration of war by the Austro-Hungarian Empire on the Serbians, other nations are going to join in this conflict because of the alliances, as we talked about earlier. There's a map at the bottom of your notes on the second page that we're going to fill in now, kind of telling you how things go very quickly. Please feel free at any time to pause the video so you can color in the appropriate spots. I want you to go ahead and color in the countries as I go along so that you see kind of what happens with each of these nations. We're going to go ahead and color, as part of the Triple Alliance, the Austro-Hungarian Empire red. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Their enemy in this initial conflict is going to be Serbia, which is right below them. I'm going to color that blue. What the Austro-Hungarian Empire did not know when they declared war on Serbia was that Serbia had a secret alliance with a very close relative, ethnic-wise, of theirs, which was Russia. The Austro-Hungarians did not know about the alliance with Russia, but once Russia declared war on Austro-Hungary, Austro-Hungary knew it was in a losing fight. So they're going to go ahead and call on their very close neighbor and ally, Germany, who they know can help beat Russia if they need to. Germany is going to want to show off its new power, and so they're going to quickly join the war against Russia and against Serbia. Russia, now realizing that it's a little outmatched and outnumbered, is going to go ahead and call on its ally against Germany and against Austro-Hungary, which we talked about earlier, France. Now France, Serbia, and Russia are all combined against Germany and Austria. They're going to call on their next ally, Italy, to join to kind of figure out or to kind of round out that triple alliance we talked about earlier. However, at this time, Italy is going to kind of remain neutral. In addition, a couple other smaller countries are going to remain neutral as well to the north, as well as Great Britain's going to remain neutral. Now, Germany and Austro-Hungary kind of have a problem. If you take a look here, they are surrounded. So Germany comes up with this idea that if they can quickly knock out France, then they can focus all of their efforts on Russia later. So they're going to invade through Belgium, this one right here, into France. So I'm going to go ahead and color Belgium blue as well as the Netherlands blue, because now they're being invaded by Germany to France. What Germany did not know was that Great Britain had a secret alliance with Belgium to protect them in times of war. So they just brought Great Britain into the fight as well. France is going to declare war on Germany, Austro-Hungary. The last kind of major one that you're going to see here, or the last two, is that Great Britain's actually going to convince Italy that it's better to be on Britain's side than it is to be on Germany's side. So they're going to switch Italy over to the Triple Entente. Lastly, the Ottoman Empire, which has been shrinking dramatically over the course of the last several decades, is going to see that Germany and Austro-Hungary are combining, and that most likely they think they're going to win. And so the Ottoman Empire is actually going to ally with Germany and Austro-Hungary to try and regain their former empire that they had before. And this is going to kind of be the battle lines that's going to form after this. Following kind of these declarations of war, others are going to declare kind of to be neutral for the most part. But overall, just about everyone's going to join in. Following these declarations of war, things are going to spiral out of hand very, very quickly, and we're going to develop into what's known as trench warfare, something we'll cover in the next class period. Go ahead and make sure that you watch all of this video and that you take the quiz later today. Have a good day.